Welcome to Babies from Beyond, the podcast that gives all babies a voice, whether they are still in spirit or already earthside. I'm Lauren Dionysius, a former registered NICU nurse turned baby soul communicator, and I'm here to share the wisdom of today's babies to guide you on your motherhood journey. Okay, so today's question is, why is your conception journey so long and so hard? This is a question I get a lot, and so this episode is for those of you who've been trying to conceive for a while. Now, when I say a while, this is very subjective. And for some of you, it might be 6 months, and that may feel like a really long time for you. For others, it might be 5 years, 10 years, or even more. So I want to start first by saying that a long time can be very subjective. So I want to know right off the bat that I see you, that I hear you, and that I work with many women who have had a long and hard road through their own perspective of that. As I said, for some that's 6 months, for others that is more than 10 years. And there's this sense where conception seems to be taking longer than you thought it would or thought it should, where it feels like you're doing all of the things, but nothing is happening. Sometimes not even conception, or sometimes there might be conception, but you're not able to sustain a pregnancy. So the biggest questions I find women are asking are why? Why is this happening? What am I doing wrong? What have I missed? Am I being punished for some reason? Did I leave it too late? Should I have started a few years earlier? And when it comes to the answers to these questions, I do want to say that it is very individual for each woman and her child, and what the soul agreements and contracts are, or what the circumstances are for that journey or the journey together. So the answers are not clear cut, but I did want to share what I've learned to be some of the themes around this. So again, in a general sense, it's normally not that you've done anything wrong. That's not something that comes through very often. But sometimes for a small percentage of women, something has been missed along the way, and there may need to be some kind of intervention or test or extra support to help conception, to give it that extra support. But what I found by far the biggest problem with a long conception, and this is what I sense from your baby's perspective, the expectations that it should be less. So just to broaden this a little bit, we have so many rules around time, that things should happen straight away. Even like finding a park at the supermarket. We think it's wrong or it's unfair if we need to drive round and round looking for a spot. We also feel, many of us, that people should respond straight away. So whether that's to our emails, our messages, or our phone calls, that they should get back to us as soon as possible. And even things like technology, like a website should load up straight away, or the internet should be at 100% all of the time. Basically, we don't want to wait. We're in a world that does not want to wait for anything or anyone. And we also want instant gratification. So it kind of makes sense that these rules, these expectations would drift into the energy of conception. But what I find happens when we put this sense of urgency, or it should have happened by now, this sort of energy around conception, is that it not only causes you stress and makes you feel like you're running out of time or you're doing something wrong, but it's also really difficult for your baby as well. It can add an extra layer of density to your energy field, which can make it harder for them to come, even if it is the right time. Now, I'm not saying this to judge you if this is resonating with you on any level. It's just, I really want to help you see a different perspective around this. Your baby's perspective. Because you don't know about your baby's journey and what they need for their journey to Earth unless you ask them, unless you communicate with them, unless you create space to allow them to share what they need. Just as, this is possibly a bad example, but it's what comes into my mind. It's like when you go to the hairdresser. They don't just start cutting your hair, right, or putting random colors in it. They start by having a conversation with you and asking you, what do you want? Like, how much time do you have to maintain it? What sort of length do you want? What sort of color do you want? All of these questions, and even though, the moral of this story is not about comparing babies to hairdressers, but it's about asking the questions and realizing that we can't know someone else's dreams, plans, needs, hopes for their journey unless we have a conversation with them, unless we communicate with them. And your baby is no different. So when we do ask babies what they need for their journey to Earth, some of them have their timeline that is well focused into the future for different reasons. Maybe they're waiting for something. Maybe there's something astrological, or they're waiting for you to learn and grow through a certain period of your life to be better able to receive them or better practice to support them on their journey. So it's not normally that you have done something wrong, but sometimes there is something that you can do to help them. But if you don't find that out from them, how can you know to do that? But instead of having these conversations or being open to communicating with these babies, we just add fuel to the fire, fuel to those expectations, because that's kind of all we have to go on. It should have happened by now. Something must be wrong. I'm doing something wrong. But in the majority of cases, this is just not true. It's pretty rare, to be honest, that you're doing something wrong. What the problem normally is when we tune into these babies is that there is some kind of expectation that is not really based on anything accurate other than should, or you're comparing yourself to others, or you're listening to what others say is too short or too long a time to try for conception. Things like, I should have a baby, or it should have happened by now, or other people seem to get pregnant so easily. But in my experience, what we forget is that we all have different journeys. We can't compare one woman's conception journey with another. There's just too many moving parts. There's your soul, their soul, your life, what they are coming to experience here on Earth. It's where you're at in your life. It's past lives. It's soul contracts, soul agreements, what they're coming to learn, what they're coming to teach, what you need, what they need from you to support them, how you can guide them. So there's literally no two journeys are the same. But when we try to compare someone else's journey with another, we're just comparing like apples and oranges, and it doesn't work. So yeah, first we need to honor that we have different journeys. We all have different journeys. And the worst thing that you can do for yourself and your baby is to compare and judge that journey. Like, how long is too long? Who says that 1 year is too long? Or who says even that 5 years is too long, or 10 years is too long? What I'm trying to say here is that, can we not make these timelines wrong? Can instead we be curious? Because what I can assure you, again, after tuning into and connecting with thousands of babies is that your baby's not looking at it in the same way. I promise you, they're not sitting in spirit saying, oh my God, this is taking way too long. Like, geez, I thought I'd be there already. I thought this would have happened by now. And things like, am I ever going to get to Earth? Or I wish it would just all hurry up already. Now, I say this not to judge or make light of your conception journey. Like, I understand that it challenges you on so many levels. But I'm sharing this to help expand your mind well beyond your own expectations and your beliefs around your journey, and to help you see things from your baby's perspective as well. Because you are one piece of the conception journey, of the conception puzzle. And you are that vehicle for your baby's soul. You're offering them a life here on earth. But I want to be really clear here. You cannot, at any point along their journey, do this for them. As I mentioned, with timing, it's about so much more than what you can see. It's about your soul, your partner's soul, your life together, your baby's soul, your baby's journey, their reasons for coming, what they need for their life, what they want, their dreams, their hopes, their purpose. It includes all of those beings in spirit who are supporting all of you. It's the energy of conception, of your relationship, your life, your energy field, the global energy, the astrological shifts and transits in the cosmos. It's a much bigger picture than what we tend to consider. And this may be a little controversial, but I do believe that our souls came to Earth to learn and to grow. If we wanted things to be easy and happen on demand, then we would have stayed in spirit. It's a lot easier up there than it is down here. But instead we come to Earth to have experiences, to learn, to grow through these experiences. And that's why your baby's soul is coming too. And they are teaching you about them well before conception. In my experience, it often feels like they are parenting you from spirit before you parent them here on the earth. And I find like that time, that conception journey can feel like an initiation. Not in the way to punish you or to try to prove yourself worthy of receiving them. It's not about that. But it's a preparation, guidance, it's support, wisdom, understanding, and helping you to really experience and learn different qualities that you're going to need to support them, such as patience, slowing down, listening to your own intuition, being really clear on what you do and don't want, releasing expectations for how things should or shouldn't be, and allowing things to unfold as they need to. And we are all faced with difficulties. Nobody gets in and out of this earth suit without them. It just doesn't happen that way. For some, we're here to learn about finances or relationships or work, children, family, communication, conflict, trauma, all of these things. And for some, it's around slowing down, being patient, letting go of control. And conception is a really powerful portal and journey for our souls to learn about these qualities. So while it may feel that you've drawn the short straw, if it feels that you're waiting a long time to conceive a baby, there is another option here. Instead of feeling like you're missing out or it's not going to happen or feeling deflated or defeated or hopeless or helpless, I invite you to be curious. Instead of why isn't this happening when everyone else seems to get pregnant on demand and we've been trying for so long, instead, can you ask the same question, why is this happening? But be curious instead. Like, what is my conception journey teaching me right now? How has it already changed me? What am I learning from this? What is this strengthening inside of me? And how can this waiting or this journey be helpful for my motherhood journey instead of hindering it? Because while many may disagree, I do believe that there is purpose in the hard things. And I'm talking on the soul level here. You know, sometimes we do need to separate our human self and our soul self a little. Because usually our human self will resist or want to debate this until the cows come home, that there is purpose in the hard things. But on the soul level, I truly believe that there is. Because what the conception journey can really teach you, and what I'm about to say has come from baby souls sharing their observations of your journey, but also from the souls of women who are sharing what this conception journey is teaching them. It teaches you patience, because you're going to need that, right? It helps you to soften that black and white, good, bad, right, wrong thinking that tends to be pretty automated for most of us. Probably the biggest thing is releasing control. Now, I want to touch on something here, so I don't mean to offend if this hits you in a sore spot, but I've definitely noticed a theme between women and couples who are used to being in control, that love to control everything about their life. They want to control their future. They take it on themselves to take on that responsibility. And perhaps they're kind of used to getting it as well, getting what they want when they want it. So again, this is a generalization, but I have found that pattern. For those that do like to be in control, there can be what seems like a longer journey around conception. So you may be wondering, well, if I can't control conception, like, what can I do? I can't just not do anything. And that's true. You know, I don't believe that we need to throw our hands up in the air and ignore or just give up. I don't believe that's the answer. But what I've come to believe around control is that the opposite is surrender and it's trust. And this is what I've learnt is what babies need. Your baby does not want to be controlled. They want to be recognized as a soul in their own right, as a human in their own right. A child who is coming to have their own journey here on earth, supported and nurtured by you, absolutely, but not controlled by you. And the collective baby soul wisdom around this has been very clear over the years. And that is, guide me, but don't own me. If this does resonate with you on some level, then I invite you to slow down a little, to really focus on the journey and the advantages of this time in your life right now, and being really honest around that. And also remembering that this is much less about you than what you may think it is. You don't need to control this. You don't need to take on that full responsibility for bringing a child to earth. But you can still support them. You can still be guided by them. And be curious. Connect with them. Ask them. Let them guide you to take the pressure off yourself. Give your mind, your body, your soul a break from that pressure. Remembering that it's their journey too, and at the end of the day, they're the ones that need to take the leap and come to you. If today's episode resonated with you and you're feeling the nudge to deepen your connection with your baby, whether you're trying to conceive, navigating loss, currently pregnant, or perhaps you already have baby's earthside, then I'd love to invite you to join me in Connect with Confidence. It's a 5-week guided journey where you'll learn to recognize your baby's messages, trust your own intuition, and feel deeply supported as you nurture this soul-to-soul connection with them. The doors are open now just for a few days, and you can learn more via the link in the show notes. I'd love to walk this journey with you. Thank you for tuning in to Babies from Beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave me a review just wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Born Energy, and check out the show notes for more ways that you can connect with your baby's soul, including one-on-one readings and online programs to support you. Until next time, trust your journey and your baby. Take care.